as you may know, the chairman of the Maricopa County Supervisors in Arizona is really having a hard time getting all these votes counted. And sometimes there are wonderful ways to kind of put it in perspective. We've apparently found the person who writes Kamala Harris's speeches because it's so Kamala-esque in the wording, but I want you to get some idea of just the explanation. Here we go.
I know this is a fairly new thing on how much time it takes, but we just take the time needed that time needs for us to take time. And sometimes time requires a lot of time. And this is one of those times where the time is just going to take so much time.
That was brilliant.
I can't even.
That's
did anybody
brilliant.
count how many times she said the word time?
I don't know, but it's no more than Kamala Harris does when she's given, 30 seconds to say something,
Yeah,
and she
fair
uses
enough.
the same 3 words over and over in a circle. Just hilarious. Now, this next clip is not comedy. This next clip is the actual election supervisor, and he's being interviewed. I think it's on CNN. I believe that's right. And listen to his answer. I've never seen anybody so flippant about the incompetence of counting votes. Watch.
When do you anticipate the votes will be counted in total, those 400,000 plus votes?
Well, we will be going into next week. There's some onesie-twosies, again, pursuant to Arizona law, but I think that we'll see the lion's share here wrap up by early next week.
Early next week, can you give me a day? Are we talking Monday? Or we?
Maybe. As long
Onesie-twosies? Have you ever heard that from a public official? I mean, I don't know if he's counting votes or if he's playing Old MacDonald on a Etch-a-Sketch or something. What in the world is that?
I don't know.
I mean, if I were him, I'd be saying, I am so sorry. We are so utterly incompetent. We cannot count votes in Arizona. And if I lived in Arizona, and if you live in Arizona, you ought to demand that your state fix the embarrassing, humiliating voting system that you have. It can be done because so many other states that are much bigger than Arizona, Florida is a great example. Florida gets all of their votes counted, and they are reported within about half an hour to an hour after the polling precincts are closed, and nobody ever contests it because it's so efficient, so clean, so transparent, there's nothing to contest. So it doesn't matter who wins, who loses, it's over and everyone accepts the results. There are no, quote, election deniers because there's no reason to doubt it. The reason you have election deniers, and I know that Joe Biden and the press keeps talking about this, reason people reject and deny elections is because when it takes several weeks to count votes, you just have a hard time believing that everything is on the up and up. All right, here's a Clark County, Nevada situation. Clark County, Nevada is very similar to what's going on in Maricopa County in Arizona, where they just can't seem to count.
We still have over 50,000 ballots that need to be counted. There's no weekend for the Clark County Election Department. Will continue to process. Mail should be counted in Clark County by Saturday, barring any issues with equipment. With the exception of the cure ballots, which I've already mentioned to you, the deadline will be Monday, and those provisional ballots that we must receive a report from the Secretary of State.
You know, you'd think you just hire more people. If you're that incompetent, you can't get it done. There's no reason. This is inexcusable for us not to know the results of the election within certainly a few hours after the polls have closed. This is insane. And I'll tell you, somebody who is waiting on the results is Carrie Lake. We've got some pretty big news for you. Carrie Lake is going to be on the Huckabee Show this weekend. We are very excited to have her. I think the only person who has impressed me more as a candidate in this entire election cycle is that Arkansas governor candidate. But Carrie Lake is my new political hero out there. I just love watching her. She's strong. She's not vicious in the sense that she's not hateful or you don't go, ooh. She just challenges the press and challenges false narratives, but does it with an extraordinary level of intellectual strength. Here's Carrie Lake talking about that situation in Arizona.
Could be some intentional actions here to slow roll this. Don't believe the narrative that you're hearing. They did this to me in the primary. When they finally declared me the winner, I was only up by, I think, 0.5 point. So the media ran with the false narrative that I squeaked out a win, a narrow victory. And then later in the coming days, they finally counted the rest of the ballots, only to reveal that I won by 5 points, which is pretty good when you're up against 4 opponents.
Yeah, it's real good. You know, Pam, you and I both have been in television for a long time, decades. Yes. And I watched Carrie Lake. She was a news anchor for 30 years.
Yes.
You can see that come through. Her professionalism. She's so very smooth and articulate. She's got this amazing voice, easy on the eyes. I mean, she's got the whole package. Just really an incredible candidate. But some people don't make that transition very well from being a professional, whether it's newscaster or personality. As a candidate, they stumble because they're dealing with issues. She has just, I mean, smoothly went into it in a way that is very impressive.
Well, she has it as a candidate, as you and I both know. So with how smooth she is as an anchor, I mean, to me, I don't know where she's going to stop, but this lady has a long career in front of her when it comes to her political career.
I could not agree more. I think she is just remarkable. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you will now. The button is just below this video, and there's a little bell next to it. If you click on those, YouTube will reluctantly start letting you know when we've got a new video uploaded.